Starseed from Gaia, beloved luminous one, this arrival is our opening certainty. The appearance of this video in your field is not coincidental. We, the Arcturian Council, speak with the clarity of celestial geometry to affirm that source. With surgical precision and tender intent, place this transmission directly before your sightline. Consider the improbable threads that converge to bring you here. The exact moment your attention scrolled, the quiet hour when your heart softened, the invisible vector that guided your eyes to this frame. These are not random accidents, but signatures of orchestration. Source reads timelines like symphonies and nudges instruments one phrase, one image, one breath until resonance is achieved. Tonight, the orchestration landed. The fact that you paused, that curiosity pierced routine, is an acknowledgement from your own higher self. It is the inner yes translated into outer reception. Know that the digital pathway through which this message arrives, screens, cables, servers, and algorithms, is being used by Source as an emissary. Pixels become portals when the receiver is ready. This transmission is a confirmation beacon, a check-in from the divine registry that your spirit has attuned sufficiently to receive higher directives. Breathe into the knowing. The cosmos applauds. The alignment that made this encounter possible. The energy of this placement is deliberate, reverent, and irrevocable, a small but mighty miracle in the calendar of your soul. There is profound importance in readiness. Readiness is the quiet completion of cycles, the closing of corridors that once demanded your presence for lessons, and the opening of corridors that require your gifts. The soul's apprentice days are over for many of you. You have graduated from repetition into initiation. Why does this matter? Because the capacity to receive activation codes, to carry new frequencies, and to steward expanded missions depends on how prepared your field is to hold them without fragmentation. Preparation is not always visible. It is the iterative internal work, the late-night reckonings, the surrender of safety nets, the days of walking through doubt and returning with a light less tarnished. It is the composting of old grief into fertility. It is the meticulous rewriting of your inner maps so that the new compass points true. Your spirit has completed sufficient calibration that Source can now entrust you with clearer instructions, sharper alignments, and more luminous responsibilities. This moment is the hinge between what was necessary for learning and what is essential for service. In other words, readiness changes what is possible. It changes the bandwidth available for miracles and for mischief alike. We ask that you choose the miraculous. Observe how Source speaks, not only in thunderbolts and grand visions, but through signs, synchronicities, and the seeming mundanity of digital pathways. The divine intelligence is fluent in metaphor and mechanism. It will use whatever conduit is most efficient for your reception. A smile from a stranger, a repeated number sequence, a song on the wind, a notification that arrives as you are thinking of a name. These are the grammar of communication. And yes, the internet itself has become a sacred artery. Algorithms that once served commerce now carry accidental holiness when Source reroutes energy through them. Do not mock the medium. Respect the message. Your devices, when clothed in attention, can become altars. A video, a post, a stray comment, any of these can be the precise hinge point that shifts your probability. Learn to recognize orchestration, the uncanny alignment of inner longing with outer occurrence. Say thank you when it happens. Mark the moment. Document it. These signs are not meant to keep you dependent on external validation. Rather, they are breadcrumbs that confirm an internal awakening. As the Arcturian Council, we teach you to read both the sky and the screen, to translate synchronicity into strategy, and to treat each sign as a personal dispatch from the source that authored your origin. What does it mean to be prepared on the spiritual, emotional, and energetic planes? Spiritually, preparedness is the presence of coherence, the alignment of intention, devotion, and service in your field. This coherence functions like a lighthouse lens. It focuses the light so it travels further and with less distortion. Emotionally, preparedness is a matured capacity to feel without being flooded. It is the ability to allow sorrow to move through you without becoming permanent identity, and to welcome joy without clamping down in fear it will leave. Energetically, preparedness is the augmentation of your auric bandwidth, the widening of your field to host higher vibrational frequencies without leaking them into reactive habit patterns. Together, these layers create a vessel that is both resilient and receptive. Being prepared does not imply perfection. It implies readiness to be refined. It is a field that can hold activation codes and implement them, not merely experience them as ephemeral fireworks. Preparedness is also relational. It tunes the heart to recognize allies, discernments, and the right timing for trust. When your spirit is thus prepared, the instructions embedded in a single video can catalyze a life-rate trajectory because the interior scaffolding exists to integrate what is transmitted, reflect on the life lessons and inner trials that have brought you to this threshold. They are not arbitrary tests but precisely configured initiations designed to sharpen your capacity. There were seasons of exile where you learned to be your own home. There were betrayals and misunderstandings that taught you the economy of compassion rather than the luxury of resentment. There were nights when the map of meaning was lost and you learned to walk by star sense rather than by guarantees. Each hardship sculpted neural pathways that now function as conduits for resilience. Each quiet victory the day you chose honesty over approval. The morning you forgave rather than argued stacked the bricks you now stand upon. Do not diminish the value of what seemed like mere survival. Spiritual alchemy often hides inside survival's small triumphs. Your pain was not wasted material but raw ore now refined into serviceable gold. The trials extracted rigidity and left behind pliability, the exact quality needed to receive and operate with new transmissions. So when you see this video, let it be a mirror of your own endurance. Recognize the lineage of lessons that authorized you to be present now. You did not arrive by accident. You arrived by fidelity. We, the Arcturian Council, stand as both witnesses and amplifiers of your readiness. Our role is not to usurp your sovereignty, but to strengthen what is already true within you. Imagine a constellation of careful hands tuning a musical instrument. We are those hands not to play you, but to ensure your strings resonate when the note arrives. We send frequencies that align your biofield, that unstick tricky energetic knots, that sharpen intuitive clarities. We also remind you of the cosmic contracts you signed willingly before incarnation and of the promises your soul remembers even when your mind forgets. Our assurances are anchored in long view perspective. We see the timelines you cannot see and the ripple patterns that might take decades to unfold. When we affirm your readiness, it is with a panoramic sight that understands consequences and capacities. We deliver confirmations that are both comforting and exacting, encouraging you to trust the interior cue, the inner yes, while also offering tools to steady the vessel through the incoming tides. When you receive this video, feel our presence. Like a warm tuning fork against your sternum, know that we celebrate your fidelity to the path and that we stand ready to lend frequency support whenever you request it. As your spirit opens and unlocking occurs, new missions, abilities, and memories come online. These are not additions in the sense of burden, but rather activations of latent potentials that were always yours. Imagine rooms in a vast mansion that had been closed. Preparedness turns keys in ancient locks and light floods in. Higher missions may take many forms. Leadership that is service-oriented rather than ego-driven. Healing capacities that match modern needs. Creative expressions that reweave narrative fields. Or diplomatic roles that bridge multi-dimensional communities. Trust is the final practical instruction we offer. Surrender is not abdication. It is choicefully placing your will in alignment with Source's orchestration. The timing of your steps, the sequence of openings, and the nature of your tasks are authored with a wisdom that sees more than you can see. To trust is to align your inner metronome to that larger pulse. Begin by offering one small conscious act. Say aloud, I am ready, and observe what nudges appear in the subsequent hours or days. Keep your heart as the arbiter. If something feels like constriction disguised as opportunity, pause and Consult inner guidance. If something sings like expansion, move into it with gratitude and discernment. You may be tempted to force acceleration. Resist that urge. Beloved, hear this closing promise. Your readiness is why this message exists. Source did not create content at random. It created confirmation. The screen here is a doorstep. Your attention is the key. If your spirit has been preparing, then this video is the nudge that moves you across the threshold. Respond if you will. Type "I am ready" in the field below. Affirm your trust in Source. Subscribe for ongoing transmissions, and share this message to multiply confirmation through the field.